everybody, it's alyce-Kay Ruckelshaus from Threshold of Hineni, and today and our next lesson are going to be a little different. You're not going to actually see me. You get to see this picture of me today, but in our next lesson you'll just see my hands. And there are a couple of reasons for that. Today I'm going to be showing you some things online, and so you're going to be sharing my desktop with me, and I'm not sophisticated enough yet to be able to make a video of myself talking and then put it together with something from my desktop. We'll get there eventually, but so today you're just going to see my desktop, and next time you'll see my hands, because I'm going to show you how we're going to put things into our journal that we're actually creating today. So this is going to be kind of fun. We're going to be a little bit more academic today, and it might have made more sense to do this a little bit earlier, but the reason that I decided to save it and do it at this point is because I've asked quite a bit of you in the last couple lessons. I've asked you to start worshiping every day, and I've asked you to start writing in your journal every day. And I want to give you some time to still get used to that before we go on to talking more about Abraham. So continue to work on building those habits, and we're going to work a little bit on the more academic side of this, and maybe a little artistic as well. Okay, so the two things that we're going to work on today are maps, and we're going to do just a little bit about our timeline. We'll focus on maps and the timeline and putting those into your journal next time. And I'm really excited about this. I know it probably sounds like, you're probably going, oh no, maps and timelines, but it really does make a difference in your studies, and I think that you're going to end up enjoying it, especially the way that we're doing it. So I'm going to show you, as if you don't know anything at all, about how to work with pictures that you get online. If you already know this, then please just bear with me. If you already know how to do it, you may use a different program other than Google Docs. That's okay. Use whatever you have. But if you have no clue how to do this, Google Docs is free. The only thing is that you have to sign up for an account with them, which means that you get email and stuff, but you don't have to use that. I have like 3 or 4 Google accounts with emails, and I don't really use any of them except to access things like Google Docs. I use Google Docs all day, every day of my life. This is like probably the main thing that I use on my computer, and it's just super helpful, and it's free. And I was told by one friend, I don't know if this is true or not, but it kind of seems like it might be true, that Google and Bill Gates, whatever they are, Word, whatever, that they kind of compete with each other. So whenever Word puts out something new or Google puts out something new, they kind of follow each other. And so pretty much anything that you're going to find in like Word, Office, or anything, you're going to find a similar thing in Google, and it's free. Hello. So I like that aspect of it. I would imagine that because you do have to pay quite a bit for Microsoft Word, Microsoft, that's the name I was trying to come up with, that there must be something better about it, but this has been good enough for me, and I do a lot with it. So we're going to go ahead and use Google Docs because that's free. So if you don't already have a Google account, then go ahead and sign up for one. Pause this while you sign up for a Google account, and then once you've got your Google account, you're going to want to go to docs.google.com. Can you see where I'm highlighting it up at the top of my screen there? And by the way, my arrow here, the cursor, that's what you're going to want to watch throughout this class, because that's my only way of pointing to things for you. All right, so you'll go to docs.google.com. It may end up coming up in Google like a search. If so, just click on it and it'll take you there. You may have to sign in using your username and your password, but then if you click keep me signed in or something like that, it'll always keep you signed in. All I do is I start typing docs. Here, I'll show you. I start typing docs, and because I use it so much, it's right there at the top, and I can just go to it, and there it is. Okay, so up at the top of the page here, you have your templates. We're not going to be using those, and to be honest, I don't use them. I do everything free. you know, freehand, I guess. I don't know what you would call it, but they do have some really good templates, and so sometime you might want to look at those, but not today. Today we are just going to use this plus. But before we go there, I just want to tell you a little bit about what you've got here. The search bar up here at the top, next to where it says Docs, this search bar, you can look for any of your documents in here. So for example, I made one for my dad recently about the Weathern family. So here it is. He was researching our family. So I just typed that into search, and here it is. There's the document with the pictures and other information that I had from it. By the way, very cool stuff. I mean, like this is, I think this is George Washington's notes on the Constitution from the Library of Congress. Really cool stuff, but that has nothing to do with Abraham, so we're going to let that go. Okay, so here I've got, you know, the things that I've used the most recently. We're going to go to this one, Pics for Abraham Junk Journal. You don't have that on yours, but I'm just going here because this is going to show you where we're going to be looking for maps. Actually, I want to show you how to set up a document first. Okay, so going back to the page, I'm sorry, I skipped ahead on that. So going back to our page on the Google Docs first page that you see, you want to click on this blank. It says blank down here, and you have a cross here. So you're going to click on that. That is going to give you a brand new document, and it's going to be oriented up and down, which is called profile. We want to change that to side to side so that it's the long way, like a book when you open it up. So we're going to go over here under where it says untitled document, and maybe go ahead and in untitled document you can write Abraham maps, etc. Okay, that way you can just find it easily in the future. Okay, we're going to go to File, click on File, and then go all the way down almost to the bottom to Page Setup. Okay, we're going to put it into Landscape. Do you see it's in Portrait right now? Put it into Landscape, and we really don't need such big margins on it, so let's just give it 1/2 inch on each one. So we're going to type in 0.5, 0.5. You can copy and paste this in if you want to. I do that all the time. Copy, paste tab, but I'm just doing it the slow way right now. Okay, we're going to leave the page color white, but you can change your page color to all kinds of colors, and even more than what they showed there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and click OK, because that's going to change our margins, and it's going to change the orientation to landscape. Okay, so you can see now that we've got our long page that way. Okay, it's shorter up and down, it's 8.5 up and down, and it's 11 side to side with 1/2 inch margins. Okay, now it's going to show it as 10 inches because we've got 1/2 inch off on the right here and 1/2 inch off on the left. So it's only giving us the measurements for what we have to work with, which is really important to notice. And you can see over here on the left side, if you don't see this on your computer, just open up your screen a little bit farther, so that your browser a little bit farther, so that you can see this. On the left you can see measurements too. We're going to be using those, so you're going to want those. Alright, so for now though, I'm going to take us into my document. Alright, and I'm going to look at my Abraham document, and I'm going to go down here to where I've put my information for the timeline. Okay, that's right here, and I'm going to copy this whole thing into the description box below this video so that you can just click on that to go to it. Alright, so I'm clicking on it here, and we're going to Bible Maps. Okay, this is where we can find tons of really cool maps, and as far as I can tell, these are copyright free, at least to use for yourself. I don't think that you could use them to sell, but as far as I can tell, they are free to use for yourself. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down here. This says the biblical setting. We're not going to look at that today. We're going to look at the Hebrew Bible period, part 2, and we're going to go down to the world of the patriarchs, which is set 4. Alright, do you see where I am right here? The world of the patriarchs. Oops, I'm trying to highlight just that. There we go, right there. Okay, we're going to click on the migration of Abraham. That's number 20. And see this beautiful map that has all these lines that tell us where Abraham went. All right, look up here in the legend, up here in the left-hand corner, it says the migration of Abraham, Genesis 11:27 through 12:9. That's, I think, the first couple lessons that we had. All right, we can see that this is a city with an uncertain location, because these are from a long, 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 long time ago, thousands of years ago. And so some of these cities, we don't really know for sure where they are. It's pretty remarkable, I think, that we know where so many of these are. And I've been to Israel. I've seen some of these digs, and I was actually up in Dan when they had just discovered, and they were just pulling out this big gold gate from a city, and it had some really important information along with it that was very, very cool. Dan is here, down here in this section, uh, below Damascus. Anyway, it was very cool. So it's neat seeing these things being discovered, and giving us more information on Abraham and on the other things in the Bible, and clearing up some of the things that we've wondered about, and in some cases even resolving uh, things that people thought weren't true about the Bible, and showing that it is true. So it's very cool. Okay, so we have here this solid red arrow is Abraham's migration route. Now remember that Abraham started out in Ur of the Chaldeans. Okay, and then his father, Terah, took the whole family way out here to Haran. Okay, that's a long ways. I mean, that is really, really, really a long ways. So I remember that they're walking, or maybe like riding a camel or something, but there's no trains, there's no cars or anything. This is a long way to go. And you can see down here miles and kilometers, so you can get an idea of how far that is. I haven't taken the time to measure it. I will when I print out my map. Okay, so then after Terah died, God called Abram to come out of Haran and go down into Canaan. So he came way down here past Damascus, and you've got Canaan down here. Okay, so that's where he went. And then we'll see, I think it's in the next map that we'll see where he goes to Egypt. So this is going to be our first map. We're going to copy this out. So this is in the maps website. You're going to right click on this, all right, and then see how it says save image as. Go ahead and click on that. You can have a box open up. Okay, I usually like to save things to my desktop, and then from my desktop I'll put them into files later. If I showed you my desktop, you would, yeah. It's a mess. So about once every 2 or 3 weeks, when it gets to be too much of a mess, I sort things into files. All right, you want to note what this is. It's 020. And if you want to, you can write that down. Okay, so we're going to save this. And on my computer, look down here on the very bottom left, you can see how it says 020.jpg, which we say JPEG. It's down there, and I'll be able to use that really easily. Yours might not do that, so I'm going to show you 2 ways for you to get these maps. So let's go back to our document that we called, I'm going to get rid of my document and go to the one that we're working on. We called it Abraham Maps, etc. Okay, if you have it down here in the very bottom corner, all right, look what I'm doing. I am going to left click on that, and I'm going to hold it down, and I'm going to drag it up here where my blinking cursor is, and there you go. Is that cool or what? Okay, now let's say that you don't have it down there. What you do is you go over here to the top under where it says Abraham Maps, etc. Go to Insert, Image, and then over to the right. You're not clicking down on anything yet, you're just hovering over it. Upload from computer, left click on that. Okay, then you're going to go to desktop, because that's where we downloaded it, and you're going to say 020, and there it is, 020 JPEG. Click on it and then open. And if I'm going too fast for you, just go back and watch it again, and you can pause for each step. That's what I do when I learn how to do these things, by watching YouTube videos. This particular thing I had a friend show me, but there's a lot of things, you guys, that I learned to do from watching YouTube videos, and I just take them step by step, and I watch it. Usually watch it all the way through, so I have an idea of what's going on, and then I go back and step by step I watch it, stop it, do it. If I'm confused, I go back and watch it again. And sometimes it takes me a while, but I learn how to do things that way, and I would really, really recommend doing that. Okay, so I want to make this as big as possible. So I'm going to bring it out here. Now I'm looking up here at the measurement. I don't want it to be cut off. I want it to See where the 10 is there? Okay, I don't care if I lose this gray stuff over here on the side, but I want the whole map. All right, so I'm going to just bring it out to the 10. All right, so that's good. We've got that in there. All right, now we're going to go get one more map. If you had it down here on the bottom, go ahead and click the X way over on the bottom right. See where I am? Click it so that that goes away so we don't get confused. Go back to your maps. We're going to back arrow here, go back because we're done with that map. We're going to go back. We're still in the Hebrew Bible period. Go down to Abraham in Canaan. Okay, so this is map number 21, and this shows us Genesis 12:10 through 14:24, and then Genesis 18 through 22. Again, we have the cities. Do you see where my cursor is? We have the city with an uncertain location. We've got Abraham's migration to Egypt and return to Canaan. Remember, that was where he went down to Egypt, and he asked Sarai, his wife, to pretend that she was just his sister. Pharaoh took her into his house. God punished him, and so he sent Abraham away, or Abram at that time. He still hasn't been changed to Abraham. So Abram and Sarai go back up. Let's see if we've got, here's Hebron right here where my cursor is, and you see Bethel up here. Okay, so we've got Bethel, which means house of God. Bethel. Okay, so we're going to be, that's where Abram goes back, and he goes back to his altar that he had built before. Okay, so and then we're going to see in the next chapter the military route of the kings from the north in Genesis 14, which is what we're going to be talking about pretty soon. I think we're going to have like 1 or 2 lessons before that, and so here's their route, and we'll be looking at that later. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy this. So we're going to right click on the picture. Don't right click over here. Right click on the picture. Save image as. And if you want to change the title, you can. Now this has a little 1 after it because I've saved it already, but yours will probably just say 021. If you want to, though, you can say Abraham's route in Canaan if you want. Whatever floats your boat. Okay, and I've made sure that it's in my desktop here. So I'm going to save, and it's saving it as a JPEG image. You can see that right there. Okay, so again, it's gone all the way down to the bottom of my page. It may not in yours, and we're going to put this into our document. Now make sure, see how if I click on this map in my Google Doc, it makes this line around it with all these square dots. If I put my map in while that's up there like that, while that's highlighted like that, then it's going to replace this map. I don't want to do that. So if I've clicked on it like that and it's like that, I'm just going to click the right arrow on my keyboard. Okay, or you can take your cursor and just put it over there to the side, and then just to be safe, I'm going to enter once just to go down. Okay, now if somehow you accidentally erase that map, you can just go over here to the left. Okay, under where it says Abraham Maps, etc. and File, you see this left arrow here? You can click on that. Okay, so I'm going to purposely delete this. Bam, it's gone. Oh no, what am I going to do? You click undo. Wow, it's there. Is that cool or what? Okay, so then I'm going to put my cursor over to the right, and I'm going to enter a couple times just to space down. I'm going to, if you've got the map that's down there in your bottom left hand corner, you're going to drag it up here, and now you've got the 2 maps. Check and make sure that you've got both of them. Okay, and again, I'm going to delete this. Okay, if you don't have your document down here, what you just downloaded down there, then you can actually go up to Insert under Abraham Maps, etc. File, Edit, View, Insert. Click on that, left click on that, then hover over image, and then click on Upload from Computer. Make sure it's at desktop, and then type in the file name that you gave it, Abraham's Route in Canaan. Okay, there we go. So we're going to click on that and see how it loaded into this little box there, and then click on Open, and there you go. So now we've got the migration of Abraham, map 20, See map 20 right there. And we've got Abraham in Canaan, map 21. Is that cool or what? We want to resize this so we can make it as big as possible. Actually, I just realized I told you the wrong size for this. Okay, we're going to put this on one page of our notebooks. If you're using a spiral bound notebook, which is 8.5 by 11, then this is exactly how you're going to want to do it. Okay, you're going to want to do it and 10 inches wide. All right, and it is, let's check and see, this is, do you see your measurements over on the left? It's a little bit more than 7.5 inches. So that will fit on one page sideways of your spiral notebook. If you have the Abraham Junk Journal or a store-bought journal or a journal of any type, measure the page. And for example, my pages are 8 inches tall by 5 inches wide. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this sideways on the page because I want to be able to really look at it. I want it to be as big as possible. So I'm going to make my map a little bit less than 8 inches. So I can bring the corner of this way over to 8 inches here. So this will be a little bit less than 8 inches. And I want to check my height, and it's bigger than 5 inches. So I'm going to have to make it smaller. I'm going to bring this in. See how I'm pulling on that bottom right hand corner? That just resizes the whole thing. If I pulled on this left one, then it takes all this kind of out of proportion. Okay, I'm going to click on this left undo arrow again to bring it back to what I had. Okay, so I'm going to bring, and I can do it from any corner, and you won't lose the proportions. So I'm going to bring this left one up. I want to bring it up to 5 inches. I don't want it to be any more than 5 inches. That's a little bit less, so I'm going to bring it down a bit more so that it's 5 inches. There we go. Okay, so that makes it 5 by 6.5. That's the biggest that's going to fit on my page sideways. So that's the size that I'm going to make it. Okay, I'm going to go up and do the same thing on this one. Okay, so what was it? It came to 6.5. So if I bring this to 6.5, it should do the same thing, although this map may be a little bit bigger. We'll see. Oh, actually, I can make this one a little bit bigger because it's actually long and narrow. So we can bring this, I'm pulling on that corner to bring it down to so that the map, the bottom of the map itself is about 5 inches, which brings this out to almost 8, which is really good because that means it's the maximum size that will fit on my page. Whatever size page you have for your notebook or journal is what you can use for this map, and I would make it as big as you can. Allow yourself a little bit of margin, but as little as possible so that you can make this big enough to be able to see and write on in your notebook or your journal. Okay, so that was fun, wasn't it? All right, and you learned how to do that. So now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to print this out. And to print it, all you have to do is go over to File here and down to Print. Or you can click on this little icon that's Print, or what I like to do is just Control P on my keyboard. But for now, since you can see this, I'm going to click on Print. All right, I'm making sure that it's hooked into my printer, and I want both pages. It's only 2 pages long. It says up here 2 sheets of paper, so I know I'm not getting any extra pages. I only need 1 copy of it, and I want it in color. So I'm going to go ahead and click Print, and it is printing. All right, there's my printer. Okay, so it's printing, and I'm going to have that. I want you to bring that to your next class. Go ahead and you can cut around this, cut around the outline of it. Keep the legend on it, so cut around that. Okay, but cut around the outline of this. Stick it just free in your journal. Don't glue it in or anything, because we are going to be doing some stuff with it before you put it in your journal. Okay. So the next thing that we want to work on is, we're not actually going to work on the timeline, but I want to show you a couple things for the timeline. Okay, so those of you who have the Abraham Junk Journal, you've got a timeline in the centerfold. Remember, we made that with all the flip outs, so it goes way out. It's like 6 pages wide. And so it's 30 inches long, which is just really, really cool. If you didn't make a junk journal and you're using either a journal or a notebook, you have several options. One is you can just use your regular pages, and you can either make your timeline small. Let me show you down here how we could do it. Okay, so let's go to a new page. Okay, so you could either make your timeline, how do I don't know how to show you on here actually, without taking a lot of time. You can make your timeline just go right across the page, and you can have it have several different lines if you want, or you can have it go on for several pages and turn it, or if you want to, you can make flip outs in your notebook. There's absolutely no reason why you can't do that in your notebook. I will put the link for this video below. This is where I show how to make the flip outs, and I just have to warn you ahead of time, the video is not great. For one thing, it's in the wrong orientation. I'm still figuring out a lot, but I was really beginning then. And my camera, I think, swings a little bit too. Let me play just a little bit so you can see it's like really bad. See how it kind of swings? Because I had my camera suspended. It's just really crazy how I was doing it just to try to be able to do this. I didn't have any equipment yet. So anyway, if you're watching this on your phone or your tablet, you should be able to open this up vertically and then lock your screen and then turn your tablet sideways, and you'll be able to see this a lot bigger and see it the right direction. Otherwise, you can follow it from this. I know that some people have, so it is possible. Okay, so I will put the link to this in the description box of this video so that you can prepare that ahead of time. And in our next lesson, I'm going to be showing you some things to do with these maps, how to get them into your notebook properly, and then also we're going to work a little bit on our timeline. So try to have those timeline pages ready. I think that's it for today. And after the next lesson, then we'll go back to talking about Abraham and Lot and the fun things that happen with them. And some of the lessons. If we have time, next time we'll also talk a little bit about Abraham's character arc, but we may save that for a later time too. All right, I love you all, and I will talk to you next time. Thank you so much for your patience, and I hope everything was understandable here. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. You can contact me privately. I have the information below in the description box, but if you don't mind sharing your questions in the comments below, that will probably help others, because if you have the question, other people probably have it too. So as long as it's not something really private and you don't mind asking it in public, then that would be great. Also, if you don't mind, let me just show you something, you guys. If you go down and click on the thumbs up there, then that will help YouTube know that they should show this video to more people, and it'll make it easier for people to find who are looking for it. You can also, down here where it says analytics and edit video, you won't have that on yours. That's just because this is my video, but let me go someplace else here. I'll go to somebody else's video. Oh no, this is mine too. Well, no, this is somebody else's. Okay, so if you go down here, this says subscribed because I subscribed to her channel. But if you click on this, it'll say subscribe. Click on it. I think it's red. Once you've clicked on it, and then you click on the bell, that will notify you when I put up a new video, so that you can just click on that and quickly go to the next lesson, and it'll just be a lot easier and you won't miss any that way. And again, that will also help YouTube know to show it to more people. I think also that if you comment, it helps in the same way. So thanks for watching. Thanks for doing this study with me. I really appreciate it, and I will see you next time. Be sure to check the description box below for all of the links that you need to go to. Love you all. Bye bye.